What's going on, everyone? My name is Jasmine. On today's episode of the Slain Project, we're going to be talking about the unsolved murders of 28-year-old Jana Williams and 40-year-old June Johnson. These are both very disturbing murders, and the Winnipeg police say that they are not at all connected. But if you look at the facts of these cases, they do share a lot of similarities. And I will be doing an updated video of Jeremy Skibicki and the landfill killings. They just started digging up the landfill and they're very close to finding his victims. So I'm just kind of waiting for that before I release the episode. Don't forget to check out my other videos, and if you want to see more videos on missing and murdered Indigenous people, click that subscribe button and the notification bell. Now let's get right into it. Jana Williams was born on March 5th, 1992, to her mother Charlene. The family are members of the Hollow Water First Nation, which is located on the shores of Lake Winnipeg and is about 200 kilometers north of Winnipeg. I do believe that Jana and her mother resided in Winnipeg, but I am unsure of how long they lived there. Jana and her mother were very close, and Charlene stated that Jana was like her shadow. She also said that Jana loved her family and friends and would do anything she could to help anyone. By the time Jana was 28 years old in 2021, she had 3 children with one on the way. People who knew her have stated that she was due in July of 2021, which would make her about 6 months pregnant when someone took her life away. At about 6 p.m. on March 4th, 2021, a gruesome discovery was made. 911 received a call from a man who was at an abandoned apartment building at Main Street and Alfred Avenue. The caller was reporting that he had found a body outside of the building. The deceased person was Jana, and it was obvious that she was a victim of homicide. The building is tucked away and is right next to the Red River. It seems as if someone familiar with the neighborhood knew of the secluded spot. Most killers tend to hunt and dispose their victims in areas that are familiar with them. And the person who did this to Jana may have lived or worked in the area. The apartment had been damaged by fire in October 2016 and had been vacant at the time, and the person who disposed of her probably knew this. The Winnipeg Police Service have been very tight-lipped on the details surrounding the discovery of Jana's body. But according to a few sources, Jana's family has stated that she was found stuffed inside a piece of luggage. This is something that the Winnipeg police would not confirm or deny at a press conference when asked by a reporter. So if true, another question remains. Was her body whole or was it dismembered? The Winnipeg police attended the location where Jana's body was found and secured the scene. After careful examination, they concluded that there was an attempt to conceal the body. The site was simply chosen as the disposal site, and she more than likely was murdered at another location. Her body was sent for autopsy, but investigators will not reveal her cause of death or confirm that she was actually pregnant. This small detail disturbs me. It raises the question if her unborn fetus was found with her remains. Pregnancy can be confirmed by blood tests, but why would they choose to hold this detail back? Not much has been published about Jana's life. Her obituary mentioned her children and a long-term partner she had. Winnipeg police believe she was homeless at the time her body was discovered and that she was last seen about 2 weeks prior to her body being found. Investigators also do not believe that she was ever in the river at any point. They believe that she was not at the location for very long and that she may have been there since sometime in February. This lines up with the notion of her being last seen 2 weeks prior. It did not take the police long to identify Jana. They did not elaborate as to how they ID'd her, but it more than likely was from her fingerprints, since she did have a criminal record. At a press conference, the Winnipeg police displayed her mugshot, hoping that it would help gather information about her. This outraged many people because they thought it dehumanized her in the eyes of the public. In a string of comments on their Facebook post, the Winnipeg Police Service admitted that the photo was unfavorable, but Jana's family did not have a recent picture of her that represented her at the time she was unhoused. So the decision was made that the mugshot photo best represented her at the time of her death. At the press conference, the police said that they would have preferred not to use it, but believed that it would be the best course of action to trigger the memories of people who may have valuable information. Also mentioned was the belief that she may have stayed at homeless shelters throughout the city. They are hoping that someone connected to the shelter system, either a patron or employee, could help them fill in the blanks of her activities leading up to her murder. The police also stated that she was not officially reported as missing. But when the Winnipeg police posted on Facebook identifying her remains, some people in the comments section stated that her family was worried sick about her and that the police did not take her disappearance seriously. But this cannot be confirmed as fact since it was never reported in the media. A vigil was held at the site where Jana's body was found. Members of the community helped support her family during their difficult time, and they pleaded for anyone to come forward with information. The apartment building has since been transformed into a transitional housing unit for young Indigenous women. There is no mention of Jana on their website. And from here, Jana's case goes completely cold. No suspects have ever been named by the police, and a possible motive for her murder has never been publicly discussed. Some people have speculated Jeremy Skibicki could have been responsible for her murder. He is known for the landfill slayings of Winnipeg. But authorities have previously stated that they do not believe he was responsible for any other killings besides the 4 counts he was convicted on after his arrest in May of 2022. But Jana's case resembles aspects of his killing spree. If Jeremy is not responsible, then that means that there could be another person out there who is targeting women at local homeless shelters. Jana's family still holds out hope for answers and wants to know who did this and why. But the family also stated that the police are not in regular contact with them, so the progress on this case, if any, is unknown as of the writing of this episode. Another woman was found murdered in Winnipeg in 2023, and her case resembles the murder of Jana Williams. Both women were homeless, found near the riverbank, and both were possibly stuffed inside something when their bodies were disposed of. Their disposal sites were about 3 kilometers apart. One thing that should be mentioned up front is that Jeremy Skibicki was incarcerated at the time, and in no way can he be responsible for this heinous crime. On April 15, 2023, June Johnson, who was a 40-year-old mother, was found murdered at Fort Douglas Park near the area of Curtis and Higgins in the South Point Douglas neighborhood of Winnipeg. June struggled with addictions, and she was homeless and utilized the shelter system in Winnipeg, where so many MMIW have been targeted in the past. She was not Indigenous, but her vicious murder prompted the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs, or the AMC, to release a statement and offer condolences to June's family because the circumstances of her murder highlights the ongoing problems that are affecting MMIW in the city of Winnipeg. Poverty, lack of safe housing, and addictions puts people in danger and places them in hazardous situations. Streamlining available resources is necessary to properly disperse help where it is needed in a quick and efficient manner. The AMC has made calls for system reform to help better serve the Indigenous community and hopefully decrease MMIW cases. The unhoused population are often easy prey to anyone who has bad intentions, and both men and women have fallen victim to acts of violence on the streets. June was last seen in early February of 2023 in the downtown area and only reappeared when her body was discovered. She was known to frequent the Silo Mission, the Salvation Army, and the Main Street Project. She could have met someone in this area and was perhaps lured away. On that day in April, the Winnipeg police were called to the Fort Douglas Park after someone made a shocking discovery. June was found dismembered, and the police will not release her cause of death or confirm if all of her remains were recovered. It was never mentioned if she was found on the ground or hidden inside an object. It is possible that she may have been found in a container or barrel of some sort. It was obvious that this was a homicide case and that she was dismembered before being brought to the park. Even though June's murder had similarities to Jana's, the Winnipeg Police Service have stated that they believe her murder was not linked to any other deaths in the city. Which is crazy because most murderers do not start out by dismembering bodies. A press conference was held by the police, and they asked for the public's help to identify the body. June was well loved and liked by all who knew her, so the police had a good idea who the body belonged to within a day and a half. In fact, the very first call to the tip line suggested that June was the unidentified victim. A second autopsy was ordered and she was officially identified. June's family was notified of this on April 17th. The police do not know how long June was at the park, but asked for anyone to come forward if they encountered her anytime between February and April of 2023. Investigators have stated that they have had numerous people investigate this case and that they have conducted countless interviews. Over 11 terabytes of video have been analyzed, and they are no closer to finding out what happened to June. The Winnipeg police have refused to say if they have any suspects or persons of interest. But how can the gruesome murders of Jana Williams and June Johnson go unsolved? The police have never confirmed if Jana was in a luggage, and they have never stated if June was placed in a similar object. How thoroughly were their remains checked for any forensic evidence? How can the killer leave absolutely no trace behind? How many deranged killers roam the streets of Winnipeg? Please contact the Winnipeg Police Service if you remember anything that may help the investigation into the murders of Jana Williams and June Johnson. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you knew these women, please share any memories of them, and I will see you in my next video.